Hey my brownie bites, welcome to this video. I thought, as someone who's also awaiting A-level results day and being around people and seeing people online who are also like stressing out and feeling like anxiety around it, I thought I'd make a video on it because that's what this channel's for. Hopefully it can make you feel a bit better and a bit lighter, soothe some nerves and help you feel much more like prepared for the day. Firstly, I just want to say big fat congratulations on everything that you've achieved in the past 2 years studying for these exams. Like, it's so important to recognize and to celebrate the journey just as much, if not more, than the destination. Like, think about all that you've achieved and all that you've withstood the past 2 years, like your little end of topic tests or your mocks. And you know, it's not just about the exams at the end that matter, even if that's what it can seem like as well. And never forget, you're goated, twin. You're the goat. Your value is derived from the love and the kindness and the empathy that you show others. Also, your grades are not fully indicative of what your intelligence and skills are. It's literally just a snapshot of how you performed on that day. And obviously, as we all know, exams are quite biased because they ask specific questions, specific topics. They never cover everything. And so in that way, it's also not testing your actual knowledge of the subject too. And so if you were ill or if you slept really badly the day before an exam, that could have really thrown you off, but that's not your fault. And it is really harsh that grades are really reliant on your like mental, physical health on that day. But that's why you shouldn't take it to heart if you don't do as well as you thought, because that's completely human. That's completely normal to not feel good on a day, on any random day, never mind on an exam day as well. And it's also important to note that having to show up constantly to every single exam, having to revise independently and set up your own routine, that is something to also be proud of. You know, for GCSEs, it's your first time doing exams and there are so many that you have to do, like at least like 20, probably more or something. And then A-levels, there's so much content you have to cover, it's not even funny. So that's also something to keep in mind as well. Like, that is an achievement in itself. Okay, so now kind of onto like a little pep talk, right? You are definitely not the only person who feels the way that you do about results day and about your grades and about exams. And it's also important to recognize that even though you can't do anything, you can reframe that in a good way, right? So maybe you've seen that thing where it's like no one cares, and you can take that in like a sad nihilistic way, or you can take that in like a fun absurdist way. So no one cares, oh, that means that like no one cares about me, blah blah. But no one cares can also mean that you can do whatever you want, you can be whoever you want to be your authentic self, and no one cares. So think about the fact that you can't do anything now in that light. That's what I do anyway. So that has helped me feel much better, because it's like I can't do anything about that piece of paper. It's a bit like Schrodinger's cat. I can't do anything about that piece of paper. Whatever has happened. And so nothing that I do, no matter how many times I beat myself up, no matter how many times I overthink, that isn't going to change what is on that piece of paper. So I may as well enjoy my time now. I may as well go out with friends and have fun rather than focusing on results day and on my grades that I did the exams 2 months ago, pretty much. Since no amount of dwelling now is going to help. So you may as well just like distract yourself because worrying about it will only make you feel ill now. I think it's also important to say that your brain naturally, like human brains, have something called a negativity bias, which means that we focus much more on negative thoughts. And so although it was, you know, a useful survival mechanism back then, now it kind of skews our perception of reality because we focus so much more on the things that have gone wrong, the mistakes, because that's how we like learn. But right now, I think it's important to understand that, like, I can guarantee you that the mistakes that you keep playing in your head every night, before you go to sleep, throughout the day, they are a very small proportion of your total of marks of the exam. And it is far, far, far more likely that you have gained more marks than you have lost. Just because, I mean, I feel this for me personally, but it's like if I get a question right, my brain just registers that as normal rather than like something like a net positive. It's kind of just like at 0. But if I get something wrong, then it's like, oh, that's like a net negative. So try not to hold onto like the questions that you feel like you've gone wrong and the mistakes as much, and recognize that there is far more potential that you like gained more. So now, advice for on the day. Firstly, go to sleep earlier than you usually would, because you're probably going to stay up late thinking about stuff, so you may as well try to go to sleep like an hour earlier so that you're feeling well rested on the day. Onto the different scenarios. If you get the grades that you were hoping for, or even better, I am so happy for you. Congratulations, you deserve it. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty about like your hard work paying off, or don't let anyone try to like diminish your achievements, right? Be a little bit mindful, read the room, you know, don't like stick your piece of paper into someone who's crying's like face, but treat yourself, enjoy the rest of summer, and congratulations. However, if things don't go to plan, firstly, you will not be the only ones. Don't try to suppress your emotions as well. Like, there'll probably be sadness and disappointment and regret, but there's no use in beating yourself up for decisions you made like 2 months ago. Like, oh, I wish I revised more. You can't change that now. You could try and get your grades appealed, but you can't really change that now. You can use that as fuel for like your next exams, whether that be A-levels or whether that be in university, you know. Use that as motivation to get the best grades then. And please remember that there are so many amazing opportunities and experiences out there that you will still be able to access, you know. Rejection is redirection, and I know in the moment it will not feel like it, and I know it's so much easier to say than to believe that and to embody that, but it is true. Rejection is redirection, and you will come to be grateful for that, I think. And like, practical wise, you could, if this is for A-levels, you could consider a gap year. You could go through clearing and find another university, and honestly, like, everything does work out even better than you think sometimes. Like, maybe on your gap year you go to Bali, you go to Pilates class, those matcha Pilates classes, and you meet the love of your life there. Maybe you realize that your insurance choice, or the choice, the university that you go through when you go through clearing, actually suits you a lot better as a person. Or maybe you meet professors, you meet friends, you meet other people who you wouldn't have otherwise, but they're so important and integral to your life beyond university. So keep those in mind. And finally, the grades and the numbers, the letters that you see on that piece of paper, do not define your worth at all. They do not define your intelligence, they do not define your future potential, and arguably far more than like whether you've gotten A stars, it's your ability to adapt and to keep going that is so much more valuable. Like, at university or at your future place of employment, no one's going to be asking like, what grades did you get for A-levels, or like for GCSEs even. Like, no one's going to be asking that. But if you are really resilient, if you can persevere, that is so much more useful and important, you know. And remember, there is so much beauty in life that you have yet to experience. The grades that you get will not stop you from being able to live that life that you want. And also, everything works out. Sometimes things work out better than you could even imagine, which is why sometimes the path that you go down is unconventional, because the destination is something that you could never have imagined or thought that you would be able to get to. So yes, I hope that this video was useful. Please do subscribe, like, comment if you did, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day, a huge good luck, and from the bottom of my heart, I really do hope that you get the grade that you want, if not better. And let me know what you guys get as well. Yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I love you lots. Bye bye.